Hey there, this is Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Once again, crying into the abyss. But today I'm going to try something new. Uh, Something that I don't believe has been tried before. Today we're going to do a right stream. Okay. What that means is that I'm going to hang out. I'm going to write. And I was hoping I'd get some prompts of some topics, but once again, uh, the apathy to the rescue. But this is early days, you can't take that personally. If you do, you'll burn out early. So, however, I will still be watching the chat. So, if anybody pops in, has some questions for me, or wants to discuss any uh, ways of doing things, I'd love to answer any questions. I'm. This is basically me trying to help improve the overall general writing, uh, because the writing in our group, our small group, is not always the best, and we're about the same level as the mainstream right now. And we could be so much better than the mainstream because the mainstream has their ideologies to push, With all the stuff that's come out about the Obama administration's policies to push quote unquote diversity, i.e., leftist ideology, into the writing, uh, making it financially feasible to race swap and gender swap and all this other stuff. We knew that there was a motive before, but it was kind of obscured because it's like, well, why would you do this to yourself? It seems almost suicidal. Well, now we're finding out why. So it is what it is. I hope they enjoy their blood money. But anyway, so we're going to do a little bit of a right stream today. We're going to talk about. Now here I am. You've got an empty page. I've got just the title. This has changed to the FERA files. My fictional federal agency has changed to FERA. Weatherman. That's pretty much all I got so far. Is now I kind of know a little bit about the story I'm trying to tell here. But the story I'm planning on telling. It's the universe I'm in. Let me. The universe that I happen to be in, that I've created. Certain people are powered. How they're powered, or what that entails, I guess that's going to be proprietary for now. But that's one of the reasons I was hoping for generic prompts, but so I wouldn't have to give away much of my IP. But it is what it is. But basically, what I'm going to do today is going to talk about the writing process. So it all starts with an empty page. Okay, the writing process starts with an empty page. Now, when you come to the empty page, you have to also. Some people, they don't come to the empty page unless it's completely all plotted out. It's all like locked down. It's all ready to go. Some of us are more. For me, it's more of an organic thing. It's an organic process. In that you're unearthing something that's pre-existing. I think all story comes from somewhere else. I know it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wacky. Where's my tinfoil hat? I know. Well, I don't think the story appears. Um, I don't think it always appears on demand. But once you go to write something, if you've done the prep work, uh, then you've increased your chances. Prep work being if you read all the time, if you listen to other people, if you pay attention to other works, how other people do, how other people make the donuts. Okay, you pay attention to that, then then you know better about what what you're doing with your own life, or what you're doing with your own work. A lot of people I see, I can always tell that they haven't read very much beyond, you know, what's they've watched a lot of stuff, but they haven't really read a lot of stuff. And well, you can tell somebody hasn't read a lot of stuff. It's because the writing is monotonous. It's you don't see any blend of styles. You don't see anything but one voice, and singular voices can sometimes work, like Emily Dickinson. But Emily Dickinson read a lot, even for a little spinster, isolated. She read a lot. Okay, but anyway, so I thought I'd do a little bit of writing today. I was going to try to meet about a 2,000 word goal, but if anybody sees what's going on and wants to comment or wants to say something or ask a question, technical question, whatever, go right ahead. But for right now, I'm just going to try to get a little bit of work done. Okay. First of all, you have to ask yourself, what's the point of what I'm doing here? What's the point of this story? This is a story that's meant to flesh out more of the world, get more of a immersive quality. All this is eventually going to go on a website that people can click on, telling stories of the world that I'm in. This particular one, you have to ask also, who am I following around? Who's going to go through the story? Who's the donkey? It's pretty much what they're. That's a new term for me. I'd never heard it called that before. But who's your donkey? Who's going to carry the weight? Who's going to carry you through your story? It's especially important in comics, because comics are a little limited to the point of view, unless you want to get really, really confusing, which does happen. But you pretty much have to know who's carrying you through your story, who's the most important character, voice. And right today, Christopher Carlton, aka Sidewinder, former member of the Freedom Five, now a current FERA agent, reluctantly. The FERA agency is, in my world, is basically the FBI for powered people. And so we open up today on the investigation. So, all right, let's get started with reports. Came in. Okay. And anomaly was cited. Is that a word? I was. Yeah, see, is it LY? All right. All right. Normally we say that. A greater patch of a Midwest having strange weather. When I say strange, I am talking about what would be a strange weather pattern in the Midwest. Talking about a blizzard in and what would be a time that blizzard wouldn't happen in Topeka? June. June's a good month. Topeka in June. Oh, I and my current partner. Let's give him a name. Yeah, names. One of the big problems with amateur when you see these names is they always come up with these dramatic names that really, they don't really make a lot of. I mean, they just you can always tell. This romance novelists are really bad for doing this. Let me see. And one of the things I have that I do is I have a random name generator I use, and all right. So we're gonna go over here to our random name generator. I'm not going to share that tab. And I left the stream. Isn't that funny? I forgot to open up a new window, so I left the stream there for a minute. Anyway, so I came back with my new name. I told you this is a beta test. You screw up things with a beta test. That was a big screw up. So we'll open my document back up. All right. So got my random generated name that looks a little less pretentious. This guy is Rickard Lane. Let's describe Rickard. Now, I'm thinking this guy, he's a bureaucrat. Bureaucrats kind of have a certain style about them, so I'll say a veteran paper pusher with the prerequisite vein, forehead vein. Veteran paper pusher with the prerequisite forehead vein. So at this time, he was my third handler. It wasn't as bad as some were, but that is like saying, wasn't bad as somewhere, so I need a like or as comparison, more of a simile. Okay, so he's not as bad as some were, but that's like saying that the pit bull waiting to chew on your leg after his cohorts are finished is the nicer dog. I like that. It was as bad as somewhere. I got a spacing problem there. No. It's not as bad. You know what? Let me, where it's clunky language. Okay. It wasn't as bad as some, but that's like saying the pit bull waiting to chew on your leg. Because cohorts are finished, it's the nicer dog. Okay. Capitalize, so. It was typical desk jockey. What's the word there? Typical desk jockey. Fitness, which is too many donuts and cream in the coffee. He would probably be diabetic before too long. if he wasn't already. I'm seeing what hair he had left was sparse and blonde. And since this was the 70s, it's when this is set, the 70s, that was down to chop sideburns and a sandy walrus mustache. Okay, I wrote something wrong there. Sort of Blizzard Pikachu. So I and okay, my current partner. You don't usually like to rewrite; you just like to get it out. But I'm a little pedantic when it comes to that. Okay, well, Harry's left was sparse blonde, and since this was the 70s, that was down to um, mutton chop sideburns and a sandy walrus mustache. Okay. We were sitting in the office in St. Louis. It's pretty much the largest. That would be the city where you would have an office because that's St. Louis is located so central to the United States. So if you had an office in the Midwest, it probably wound up being in St. Louis. So sitting. I hit a tab. Okay. Sitting in the FERA office in St. Louis when the call came in. Rickard always answered. Even when I was closer. He was the senior officer, and I was the expressor. Expressor is what I call my superpowered people, in case you wondered. Sir, with our on permanent probation because of who I am and what I can do. Word of explanation in my world. If you are powered, you have to be licensed by the government. You either work for the government or you don't use your powers at all, or you're a fugitive. So that's the only choices you're given. What I can do. All right, dialogue. Now let me think. How's Rickard going to talk? Now, I don't think that Sidewinder would know much about his home life or much about his history. I don't see Rickard as being the kind that would share or deign to share his life with a expressor, especially when it was in the Freedom Five at one point. Everything that the FER is fighting against. So, so I'm gonna say that he probably has a kind of the word's laconic. I'm not sure what kind of a dry, brusky manner. You know, kind of like secretive about everything, untrusting. Uh, Especially this guy's supposed to be his partner, but he doesn't trust him. He's there to watch him. He's there to handle him, give him his orders. Then smooth the way. Okay, so he'll probably be sitting here. Say the conversation. Be one-sided. Conversation was as vague as always. Yes, sir. Oh, sir, I haven't seen the weather reports. Yes, sir, I haven't seen the weather reports. We're in June in St. Louis. It's hot and muggy and that's pretty much it, sir. Rickard listened dispassionately to what he was being told. Then he walked over to the window and twisted a wand on the Venetian blinds. I came over curious. Came over curious, okay? What are they going to see? The white powder. No, that greeted our eyes was nearly blinding in the steel shining Missouri sun. 2, 3, sun. What the ever loving hell? I exclaimed. There we go. That's interesting. So, my powder snow greeted our eyes was nearly blinded and still shining Missouri's sun. What the ever loving hell? I exclaimed. Huh. Rickard, for once, agreed with me in his shock. With a curt nod. Then he realized he had treated me like an equal and a quick glance of disgust crossed his ruddy features. Before he turned back to the call. Yes, sir. Oh, quotation marks. Yes, sir. He spoke to the phone with a finality before dropping it into the cradle. Absent-mindedly. Okay. My favorite book to read on writing is Stephen King's book that literally is titled On Writing. And what he says in On Writing is that adverbs should be avoided at all possible. And I usually do. I do usually avoid them. But occasionally when somebody does an action, and it's not always showing and not telling, which is the big rule of thumb. But sometimes somebody does an action, but they do it in a certain way. I'll use an adverb. But most of the time I don't try. I try not to use them. Huh. Okay. We both stared at the falling snow for a minute. We have an appointment downstairs. He grunted as he grabbed his ugly sport coat. It's the 70s. He's a bureaucrat in the 70s because he has an ugly sport coat. I guess some might call that being some might call that being a stereotypical, but I don't know. You know, it's 70s. He has ugly sport coat. What can I say? I lived through the 70s, so I can tell you that pretty much all men of a certain stripe had an ugly sport coat. It was just like the uniform, you know. My uncle had one that was checkerboard. Yeah, he had a checkerboard sport coat. It was like brown, tan, and dark brown or something like that. Really hideous. Oh my god. That and baby shit green appliances were just artifacts you found in the 70s. And shag carpet. Just it really died out after the 70s, but and thank God, right? After the 80s didn't have their own anomalies. But okay, we have an appointment downstairs. He grunted as he grabbed his ugly sport coat. I tried not to show my irritation. Or sarcastically quip. I usually lean. Usually do. Because Ricard had no sense of humor to speak of. Right behind you. I replied to his retreating back. Beck, you have a choice. He responded. At time, the obscene gesture was on my hand before I even thought about it. Fortunately, I have always had great reflexes, and it was gone. I time Rickard glanced. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. All right. Now, I just wrote this organically, right? But let me point something out. What happened to this relationship came along. I established that Rickard was kind of like this big burly, kind of Midwest, no nonsense, dry kind of guy, and that he had some kind of bias and treats Christopher Carlin like a lesser being, And most of the time, Chris is kind of restrains himself. But what you're seeing here is a relationship that's strained, let's say. But I didn't ever say that. I didn't have a line where it said that I don't really like Rickard, or Rickard didn't really like me. I don't need to do that. If you do your job right, then it becomes apparent, right? Now, if you're in a comic book medium, the way that you would do this is you wouldn't have like a block somewhere. He hated me, I hated him, That's not necessary. The dialogue, the way the body language towards each other would show that. That's why comic book is such a incredible medium, especially to being able to show, not tell. Okay. All right. That time the obscene gesture was on my hand before I even thought about it. Fortunately, Lois had great reflexes, and it was gone by the time Rickard glanced back. Okay. Righty. Downstairs. All right. One awkward. The awkward, silent elevator ride. Later, and we arrived downstairs. Right? What's downstairs? Downstairs is the downstairs. This is a former tale, so is the central hub of the FERA mid America office. There was a lot of activity and conversations being had. By prairie dogs, the human prairie dogs. And cubicles. How else would you spell prairie? There it is. Oh, okay. All right. Cubicles. Yeah, okay. This was the intelligence intake apparatus for the entire division. At that time, the Midwest had a lot of expressor activity because a few enterprising states had laws and had lax laws that allowed expressors a modicum of freedom. Okay. All right. The Midwest always rejects what happens on the extremes, extreme coasts. So it would make sense that they'd have more lax laws. Modicum of freedom. In a nation that had become increasingly restrictive to that segment of the population. A segment of the population any lesser restriction was going to feel like the freedom that was taken from them at the turn of the last decade. However, Congress and the Supreme Court were working on it. Soon, the heartland would be just as bleak a place for powered citizens as the coasts were. The country's in transition at this time because the amendment to the Constitution happened in '70. So states would still be kind of working through, it's all states' rights. So states can choose to be more lax in certain things than other states. You see this with the sanctuary cities and things like that. So anyway, we're coming up on an hour. I think it's a good spot for today. I'm probably going to work on something else to get up to my 2,000 words so I can continue with my NaNoWriMo, challenge. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop for the day. I like what we're doing so far. I like where we're headed. I like the relationship between Rickard and Sidewinder. It just kind of came organically, which established Rickard, and I already knew Sidewinder from things I've previously written. And the Sidewinder is the donkey. And okay, so what we got a rising thing that need to be solved in the snow, the strange snows that are happening across the Midwest in June, which is not a time you should see snow in the Midwest. But anyway, I digress. I like where we're headed with this. And if you have any questions to ask about something I did or a decision I made or a writing trick I used, feel free to ask in the chat. Anyway, I think we'll end that for today. And it's the first writing stream, the beta. Word note to self that if you're going to open up a new window, make sure that the StreamYard window is not the one you open up. Anyway, maybe this will grow, maybe it won't. I don't know. But I hope so. I had fun. I hope anybody who watches this will have fun as well. But we're going to try to keep this down to just an hour. And we're coming up on that. So anyway, so that right there was Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. And the show is How to Write Comics Good. Not well. Because well is a holding ground from which you draw water. Good is the opposite of bad. Saying y'all have a nice day.
Tell me what's on your mind.